War Thunder is probably the most opinioned game out there, and everyone has their own opinion on literally everything. That goes from missiles to planes to playstyle and above. So don't take this video too seriously if you don't agree with me. But in my opinion, the R3R is the best missile in the game, and there's a few reasons for this. Now, obviously, before you go in and spam a hate comment and be like, you're just incredibly wrong, I don't mean, like, overall greatness. I'm not saying that this missile is better than a, AIM-9M or an AIM-120. That's just stupid. But to say what the best missile really is, you have to look at comparison. If you have an AIM-9M, it is next to a bunch of near-peer, if not better, missiles, being things like the R-73 and the Magic 2. You can't say the AMRAAM's the best either, because it has so many near competitors, like the AIM, the R-Darter, the R-77, the Mika EM. Now, the thing with the R3R is it doesn't have any competitors. There's one other missile in the game at the BR that really can, air quote, compete with it, and that is the F-8E's AIM-9C, and the F-8E, just radar is not good at all. The F-8E does not have a single acquire radar, it only has a search, meaning you have to actually have the radar acquire it. And that makes it kind of difficult. Now, the thing with the MiG-21 and the R3R is that you get, you can see the missile as low as 9.7. And for the reason I wanted to prove how good this missile was, I'm using it on the MiG-21 SMT, which is 10.7. So you can see how the missile could kind of compare to, a 9.7 aircraft. Now, another thing is the F-8E's radar is not good at all. I know I just said that, but another big thing for the AIM-9C comparing to the R3R is the fact that, the R3R is undetectable. The band of radar that the R3R uses and that the MiG-21 SMT and other MiG-21s use is undetectable to NATO aircraft, meaning there's only a handful of other aircraft that will actually be able to detect the R3R. Now, same goes for the R3R and the AIM-9C. They are very easily chaffable. A single chaff can very easily confuse the missile. And that is another thing I wanted to point out with the R3R is at 9.7, which you can find planes with the R3R, there's not a lot of aircraft that have access to flares and chaff. And in a full down tier to 8.7, this very much means you can have R3Rs fighting MiG-17s. Now, unless you're just very, unintelligent or not aware about the game, I shouldn't have to explain too badly why that's pretty broken. Now, before, I know people have probably at this point already left a dislike and commented, well, the R3R is utter crap. Like I said, this is a very opinionated game. I have my opinion, you have yours. And in my opinion, there's no missile at the BR that the MiG-21 sits at the BR that the R3R is found, that is comparable. Now, I wouldn't say it's any better than anything above 10.7, because planes like the MiG-21 BIS do have the R3R, but at this point in an up tier, you can fight things like Tomcats, and that means you're just not really going to have a chance, and the R3R, I believe, is detectable in later aircraft models or later RWR models. Anyways, I really hope this video doesn't piss off too many people. That kind of worries me because I've heard a lot of people talk about how bad the R3R is, and like I said, guys, this is an opinion. My opinion is that this missile is very, very good, and your opinion is maybe that it's not. So no need to get too crazy in the comments. I get where everyone's coming from. Now, another point I want to make out about how the R3R functions better than other missiles is it's also really, really good in the rear aspect. Now, unless a target is diving towards the ground like earlier or dispensing chaff, at around a mile, 2 miles, your missile should out-accelerate them and kill them. And another thing I wanted to also point out is that the R3R's, or any MiG-21's radar, is more compatible and more usable than the F-8E. Now, I love the F-8E to death. It's one of my favorite aircraft in the game, but its radar is utterly terrible. That makes the AIM-9C very, very hard to enjoy. And at 10.7, the R3R just feels a lot more playable and better. Now, I know so many people honestly hate the R3R. They say it's utterly useless, but hear me out on this. It's pretty dang good. Now, if there's a big enough want, I will make a how-to video on how to use the R3R successfully. If you want to see that, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, may as well hit that like button and subscribe, because maybe you don't utterly hate me and want to see more of my content. Now, before we end things off here, I want to point one last thing out, and that is the difference in the R3R and the AIM-9C. A really, really big one that I did mention this a little bit earlier is that the AIM-9C is detectable on RWR. The R3R is not. That necessarily makes the R3R an air quote invisible missile, because you use it in a head-on close enough where an enemy doesn't necessarily have time to drop chaff or maneuver out of the way, but they still don't necessarily know it's coming. Now, if you've seen there, I knew that A10 likely wasn't carrying chaff, and I was right. I gambled, and he died. The R3R is one of those missiles that is hit or miss. There are times that I feel like it underperforms, and there are times that I think it's overperforming. And like I said, I wanted to prove to you that the missile is actually capable, so I took it out with the 10.7 MiG-21 SMT instead of using the 9.7 Premium MiG-21 that has the R3R. That should at least maybe somewhat tell you guys how much faith I have in the missile itself, but you never know. Anyways, make sure to let me know your thoughts down below. If you didn't like the video, that's okay. Let me know maybe what I can do to improve it, and feel free to leave a dislike. If you guys did like the video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and comment down below if you want to see a video of me teaching you guys how to properly use the R3R. That's going to be it for this one, guys, and until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next one.